Hello, and welcome to CLEA'S World. I am Clea, and today I will be sharing with you more information I've received from the 25th dimension during my last qhht hypnosis session. Before we move forward, I'd like to ask you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. And please do give this video a like. It really does make a difference for me. And do leave a comment below. I would love to hear how this stuff resonates with you, how you are doing out there. It's tough these days because we're seeing a lot of changes happening around us. So it's nice to have a little tribe of people that understand that there's definitely something going on, and we're definitely getting info on what that is. So let's move forward here. I'm going to start reading. When I refer to Carolyn, I'm speaking about my hypnotist who's reading the questions I prepared in advance of the session. And when I refer to me, I'm describing myself under hypnosis. So the answers are actually coming from the 25th dimension. All right, Carolyn. In the first session, you told us that some humans don't want this game to change, that they've been playing for thousands of lives. They don't want it to end and they're getting kicked out. They don't like it. Excuse me. That's why they're not going to the earth. They don't want to. But we thought that everybody was bored with the game and that everybody wanted out. Is this not correct? Me. Yes. So what we refer to is the fact that there are people that really truly want 3D. And so it's not correct in the sense of how the question was meant. That was assuming that somebody's being forced to move when they don't want to. All of us have agreed to move on, everybody, and also given the choice of where we want to move on to. Nobody's being forced to do anything. You cannot force an essence. What we referred to initially when we mentioned the fact that some people don't want to be kicked out is that some people do want to believe in the matrix. They do want to believe in the game. They do want to have this 3D experience. And this is why we set up 3D chambers, because we absolutely honor the choice of the essence to experience 3D. Absolutely, we can empathize with the fact that some of these people did want to be here. Even Clea wanted to be here, and she's being kicked out in a way. The planet is no longer going to be available, even though she was part of, the process. So in that sense, this is what we refer to, is that a lot of people didn't want this to be taken down. But no, nobody has been forced to leave. Everybody has agreed. Carolyn. So do the watchers have any play or part in the decisions that we as a human population make in regards to taking this game board down? Me. The watchers are simply an alert system. So the watchers have sounded the bell, rang the bell, saying that there is a problem, there is a fire that is spreading, and now what do we do? And so no, the watchers have not made the decision. Carolyn. They just make the awareness? Me. Yes, they have sounded the alarm, but really the decision has been made by the 12,000. Everybody has had to agree to it, but the 12,000 basically have not been able to salvage it. The 12,000 come in, as we've explained, as the emergency services. Sometimes they are able to recalibrate things. We have ways of doing things, but on this planet, we just couldn't. And of course, it doesn't mean it's only us. We get help. We have put information out there. We have done things, but this hasn't worked. And for this reason, we basically have decided that the only option, and again, we've also used resets. We've done everything we could. And we've decided that our only option would be to take it down. Carolyn. So when will the essences of all living beings, besides humans, like animals, plants, etc., leave this planet? And will they leave all at once or in phases? Me. They're already leaving, so in phases. They're already leaving. The pets will leave with their owners unless they're going back to the 25th dimension, which some of them might want to do. Not many. There aren't that many. Carolyn. So will they take their bodies if they don't go to the 25th? Me. They only take their bodies if they're going to hang out with the aliens. Otherwise, nobody else is taking their bodies. You guys already know this. They've explained to us how the transition will work. And basically, the other two groups of people. So the group of people going with the aliens will take their bodies. So they'll be taken like, it's like getting on a bus when they get on the alien ships. But for the rest of us, the people going to New Earth will shed their bodies before moving. And again, we'll do so consciously. This will not be like death where we actually believe where something is happening to us, even though death is not real. That's how we think of it here. In the group that has gone, pretty much everybody has left, that was in the 3D group of people. And when they went in their sleep, basically, and so unaware of what was happening. So they just left their bodies behind. And that's why we're having a lot of NPCs walking around these days. And I mentioned this in a previous video. I actually heard somebody say that this is actually quite visible now. This was somebody who's actually not necessarily spiritual, was mentioning that they went to Seattle on vacation, and all of a sudden there were all these people walking around that looked like zombies. Basically, they looked like they were walking aimlessly without drive, without motivation, without knowing probably what they were doing. So even people who don't understand what's going on behind the scenes are seeing changes. And actually, you guys are out there in a very populous area, in a big city, for example. Do let me know if you're noticing something like this. So I'm quite curious. Carolyn, and will the animals use CLEA'S tunnel? And they're referring to the tunnel that supposedly has been created to take people to New Earth. Me. The animals can, if they're going back to the 25th, they can, but not many. Not many animals are going back to the 25th. The animals really have not. They've never lost. They never had amnesia. They never lost their way. They haven't really done anything to where they would feel like they're disappointed in their behavior, which is mainly the reason why a lot of essences are going back to the 25th. It's just going to be, it would be so hard for them to understand why they've done what they've done, that they choose. And it's not dependent on the degree of what we consider, oh, they've done such evil, such darkness, they have to go back. No, we're talked about this. My friend, I have a friend who's going back to the 25th, is going back to the 25th dimension, but he hasn't killed anybody. He is feeling disappointed in what he has done. And therefore, he's lost his taste, his joy of the game, his fun. And because of this, he's going to rest. And then he wants to come back fresh. So it's not about what you have done. It's about how you feel about what you have done, how you have lived. And a lot of animals don't feel disappointed about how they have lived. Carolyn, so can you expand for us what has happened to all of those animals that have given their lives for consumption on this planet? This was actually Carolyn's question, which I thought was very good. Me. They simply reincarnate somewhere else, and they have the same choices available to us. They don't have to reincarnate right away. They can go somewhere and hang out as discarnate beings, or they can do whatever, anything we can do. I mean, they're just like us. They're our teammates. So the ones that have been, I mean, the way that they take themselves out, that we take ourselves out on this planet, doesn't really make a difference. So they would have just reincarnated. And it doesn't mean they have to reincarnate as animals that will have the same experience, but they might. It's up to the essence. Maybe the essence is working on understanding something. Carolyn, thank you for that. You told us that the tunnel created by CLEA for people to go to New Earth is now also being used by people going back to the 25th dimension. Are all the people from the dark team using it for this purpose, or only the ones who want to cleanse and clear their trauma before going back? Me. Yes. So not all the people going back to 25th are using this. Not all dark people going back to 25th are using this, but it is available for them. In fact, we didn't even know it was going to be used to go back to the 25th. This tunnel was made available. The original concept was to make it available for people from this planet to move on to New Earth, because they still wanted the feeling of being cocooned and being taken. We have this idea of roads here, of transportation. So we thought this would make them feel, Carolyn, comforted? Me, comforted. Almost like, we we've talked about this, for example, in books like A Journey of Souls and Many Masters, Many Lives. There's structure put in place to where you feel like you're going through a tunnel of light or whatever it is. This will feel very comforting to them to have this tunnel. They will feel good about it. But there are people like the 12,000 who don't need this tunnel. We don't find comfort in it. We know that there is no structure, that really we don't need anything to project ourselves. So it's cool actually how, and this is my comment on this response from the 25th, it's cool to me how we have different personalities even after we quote unquote move on from life, you know, even after our death. We just absolutely have different personalities, which is wonderful because it almost feels, you know, if you guys have watched the videos about New Earth and they talk about how we're gonna behave as a collective because everybody's gonna know everything and there's gonna be any veil. It almost felt like we lose our personality, we would be a collective. You know, I have these visuals of collectives where everybody's a clone of each other, but it doesn't feel like this at all. It's not this really. So it's cool for me to get to these kinds of answers to clarify these things or allay some of my concerns, and I hope that it's good for you guys too. Carolyn, so those entities that are going through the tunnel, do they perceive themselves as being cleansed by the structure? Me. Whatever they believe, yes. So they will feel, it's almost like they're able to put a line. The tunnel is almost like a line, it's a passage from the old to the new. And so, yes, it's almost like there is a biblical story, like a migration, like, you know, what is it called? Guys, I'm sorry, I'm not very good with the Bible at all. I've never been a Bible student. So, Carolyn, the parting of the Red Sea, me. Yeah, it's almost like that. It's almost like when they leave Egypt. I don't know what it is. Was it the Jews that left Egypt? It's almost like you go into your land kind of thing. Carolyn, yes, me. This is what it's going to feel like to them. Like there's actually a movement, like, you know, it's not real. None of it is real. So this is made available to comfort the subconscious or the consciousness of people that need something. So some people, even going back to the 25th, they know of the tunnel and they decide, they choose to think that if they go through that tunnel, they will have a certain experience. The essence will only have the experience that is best to have. Nothing is equal for everybody. So I could go through that tunnel and think, so this is fake, we just made this up, but it's colorful, this is great, it looks cute. And that's all it will do for me. It will give me some joy because it's got colors that I enjoy. Carolyn, yes, so with that said, we know that some are able to go to the 25th in that fashion. Will this tunnel also be used for those that are going to the chambers as 3D? Me, no. Carolyn, then also not for the ones going with the aliens because they'll actually be picked up, yes? Me. So the people going with the aliens are just being picked up. It's very much a very 3D way of doing things. It's like having a bus stop in front of your house and you get on the bus. It's just going to be an alien ship. It's just very, very straightforward. The people going to 3D planets, they have left their NPCs. They've left their bodies behind. They are not, basically they've already projected. And they are referring here to the fact that the group going to 3D has already left, and they left by the end of April. They project themselves. They are not going through the tunnel because, again, and we all know this, the tunnel is there. And the idea behind the tunnel is that it will cleanse you. It will take you to a new level of consciousness. They don't want to go there. The people going to 3D, they very much want to be in this game, which is completely and perfectly acceptable. And we are happy for them that they're going to have such a fun reality. So the tunnel is mostly used by, again, it was only meant for New Earth, but now it's being used for people going to, not all of them, but for some of the people going to 25D. Because again, word has spread that this is a tunnel that again could change your reality, so to speak. And so they're like, oh, let's try this. And it's working for them. This is wonderful. It just cracks me up. They were like, word has spread. It just sounds like exactly what we do here, which absolutely confirms the fact to me that really this planet, just like any other planet, is just a small version of the entire matrix. So again, the matrix is not just around this planet, it's everything that we have created from the 25th. And so it totally makes sense to me that we're always the same people just hopping, in and out of a planet, in and out of an incarnation. It's just very cool how they explain these things. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.